I wanted to come back to the question of global poverty because you talked about the people that Trump had already singled out as likely to be victims of his presidency, the LGBTQ, migrant workers, refugees. You didn't specifically talk about US aid for impoverished countries. And of course, I'm not criticizing you for that for a moment because I don't think anybody at that stage anticipated how savagely the Trump administration would cut US foreign aid. And although they claimed that they were not cutting life-saving programs, obviously they were, and people did die as a result of US cuts of foreign aid. So I've been a bit surprised and somewhat disappointed that there hasn't been more pushback. I know there has been some, and of course I haven't been in the United States. I'm living in Australia now. Just looking at the media, I don't see that enough people have stood up and said, this is really outrageous. We have a responsibility as a wealthy nation to have aid, but just to freeze everything seemed to me a quite outrageous way of going about it. Do you think Christians have done enough to stand up, object to that?
Are we doing enough? Of course not. I think it's important to understand when you think about why hasn't there been more outrage. First of all, a significant portion of the country has always been troubled and perplexed by the amount of money that has gone to other countries when there's so much poverty and struggle at home. And so that's just a part of our national fabric and of just a very lively conversation nationally has been forced, for entire existence. And what the Trump administration did was exploit that and also dishonestly portray, as you said, the impact of the reductions. I don't know how to describe for you how exhausting it is to have so much being stripped away so quickly on so many fronts. It is challenging to know how and when to protest or to respond when so many things are being dismantled at the same time. So many significant life-sustaining initiatives in this country have been slashed. The borders have been essentially closed. And so people who are desperately seeking safety in a land that is not ravaged by war or economic devastation are being turned away. And as you know, people are being taken from the streets. It's very difficult to hold it all and know how to effectively respond. There's a lot of grief right now and some disorientation. I would say we're doing what we can and working hard to shift the political winds of the country, because without that, we don't have a chance.
Thank you. That's a very powerful answer, and I do understand how exhausting it must be to try to fight on so many fronts at the same time.